Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and today I want to talk about Jupiter's re-entry into Aries on December 20th, 2022. I am in the Pacific time zone, so if I mention a time, it is referencing the Pacific time zone. Please adjust for your area in the world. Jupiter's re-entry into Aries, I think, is very significant. The last time Jupiter was in Aries was in 2010 to 2011. And the difference between then and now is that Uranus was transiting Aries back during that time. So this time we're going to feel Jupiter's energy a little bit different. I think Uranus back then might have stoked this need for freedom, this need for rebellion, this need for liberation from whatever was feeling oppressive. And here what we're going to see is Jupiter's going to have a dance with Chiron in this last bit of the last few months of its journey through Aries. And it's going to give us an opportunity to really transform Chiron's wound into Chiron's gift in general. We're going to have an opportunity to look and individualize ourselves in a way that isn't about really rebelling against others, but rebelling against the imprint, liberating ourselves from the imprint of who we have been told and how we have been inadvertently, subconsciously directed into certain areas. So what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to go through the next few months and just hit upon a few days that I thought, well, I should say there are a few more than a few. I'm going to go through just from December 20th through May and just hit some points where Jupiter's energy feels very influential so that I can prepare to capitalize on this energy before it moves into Taurus. When it moves into Taurus, it is going to again join Uranus in a transformation, but it's going to be in a different sort of energetic vibration. It will feel very different. So first thing I want to say is that when I talk about the houses, because I'm going to talk about how this is going to, what house this is going to affect you. I'm basing this video on whole sign Western astrology. So when I talk about Aries, I'm talking about Aries rising, Taurus rising. And when I reference what house it's in, it's going to be based on that. So the first thing I want to say is when Jupiter moves into Aries at 0 degrees, it is going to stay at the 0 degree until the 29th of December, 2022. This is all the way through the holidays. And at the 0 degree is considered the critical degree, and it's also on the world axis. So this is really a huge new beginning. This is an opportunity to take the elements that we have reflected upon, Jupiter's representing our beliefs, representing cosmic consciousness, the who am I, the why am I here, the what is my purpose in this life. Jupiter represents many, many things, but this to me feels like it's very personal because we are in the house of self. So most of Jupiter's focus is going to be on, do I have faith in myself? Do I believe in myself? Am I feeling a zest for life and vitality and how I am driving my life? The Aries energy to me in its highest vibration is extremely complementary to Jupiter in some respects because it is willing to go somewhere foreign, a place it's never been. There's a very strong sense of bravery attached to the Aries energy. It is willing to, forage a path for others, to lay the groundwork for them. So when I take the higher vibrations of Jupiter and Aries together, this is really a 5-month period when you get to solidify what you believe about yourself, what you want for yourself, start to take into considerations how brave you are willing to be and how courageous you are willing to be to expand yourself beyond what the other humans can see in the way of your success, in the way of your thriving in the world. Because to me, this is teeing up an energy. Aries is very inspirational. Aries is the infusion of an energy. And when we're talking about the holidays representing kind of a stressful time for humans, it really exasperates whatever's going on. So if we are in a happy, loving situation, it will complement that. And if there are cracks, it will also, the holidays exasperate that. So I think the 0-degree Aries that's going to happen for Jupiter between the 20th and the 29th of December is really bringing into focus, what do I believe for myself? What do I want to birth for myself? How have I acknowledged my own transformation? And then moving that into the new year. Now, at the same time, we see on the 29th, Mercury is going to go retrograde and Mars is already retrograde. So Mercury is going to go retrograde in Capricorn. And Mars has been retrograde in Gemini. I'm going to do a separate video on Mercury's retrograde, but for now, I just want to bring that up because Mercury, Pluto, and Venus will be in Capricorn and very loosely squaring Jupiter. I like to, don't look at Lucky over there in the background, rubbing his tushy off the ground. That was really bad. Sorry. Okay. I'm not going to start over. So let's quickly just talk about Jupiter in its highest vibration. It represents expansion, wealth, good luck, prosperity. It's curious in a really big way. It's willing to go into new experiences and with a zest, with a sense of excitement for this new experience. It's very brave in its willing to journey into other areas. So I think this is going to be exciting. I also think that on the flip side of that, there can be a denial of negativity. There can be a sense of entitlement with Jupiter, that Jupiter can be so expansive that it misses the details, and Aries by nature wants to move so fast that it can miss the details of things. So I really believe that this period of time when Jupiter is in Aries is about not just taking action, but taking inspired action, allowing your energy to be deliberate in what you want to do. And I want to say it this way, because this is where Jupiter's broad strokes come in really well, where you can start to declare how it feels as you endeavor or adventure into this new dynamic. Again, very, very much focused on self, on promoting the self, on expanding the self, and it's going to be the self in whatever house we're talking about. So with Aries, it's the first house. With Taurus, it's the 12th house. And we're going to go around that. But let me go through a few dates that I think you'll find interesting. So on the 21st, Jupiter at 0 degrees Aries will square the sun, moving into Capricorn at 0 degrees Aries. We are also going to have a new moon a few days later in Capricorn. So this is a very good time to reflect on what you believe about yourself and your capabilities and your opportunities. And when we see a square, what I believe a square is a tense conversation between a conceptual part of myself that is moving into new territory and an old part of myself that is attached to my history, and the tension that it creates as I reconcile those two dynamics. So here, the sun is how we project ourselves into the world. Again, vitality. And Jupiter expanding. So the square is saying, are you willing to take the dynamics of what you believe about yourself, Jupiter, and to start to really build the structure first in your mind, first it's almost like building a storyboard before you actually go shoot a film. So I think this is super important. On the 3rd, we're going to see Venus move into Aquarius, and Jupiter will have moved into the first degree of Aries, and we're going to see a sextile here. So I feel like whatever you have, whatever epiphanies have come to you over this first period of time between December and the end of December 20th and the end of the year, they don't feel inflammatory and like angry to me. They feel more like, okay, I've got this. All right, here I am aligning to this bigger picture of what I want. And then by the time I get to this first week of 2023 and seeing this sextile between Jupiter and Venus, it makes me feel as if there's a complementary energy. Venus being in Aquarius, which is very individualistic while keeping its eye on the big picture, and then Aries, which is all about the individual. So there's a complementary energy, and I think this could be very much an epiphany about your own self-worth and your ability to make resources, money, and things that support the vision of your life and what you want it to be. On the 17th of January, Jupiter will now be at 3 degrees Aries and making an exact trine to the moon in Sagittarius at 3 degrees. I think this is, while the moon moves very quickly, I think this is a day of great inspiration. I think this is an opportunity to really, I think this is a good day for meditation. I think this is a good day to connect with your heavenly hosts, your team, and really start to solidify emotionally what it feels like when you're sitting in this expanded energy that Jupiter is offering you as it goes through Aries. We see on the February becomes, I believe, a bit of a more challenging month because Jupiter is going to start to have a very intimate conversation with Chiron. Chiron in Aries representing the wound of self in some ways. We're going to see Chiron really exasperating as Jupiter comes into this aspect, into this close conversation. We're going to really see Jupiter's influence asking us to dig deeper into our wound. Is our wound still current? Are we in some ways talking so much about our story, about our history, about what we're angry and resentful about, what hasn't been justified, where there hasn't been a validation. Aries in its challenging energy will hold on to anger, it'll hold on to resentment, and it will almost require a genuine apology, a genuine acknowledgement, and rarely do humans really do this. So this feels as if February starts to bring up old wounds, and this is giving us an opportunity to balance them. On the 9th, we're going to see Jupiter at 7 degrees Aries and Chiron at 12 degrees Aries. Chiron is now moving forward through Aries, and we have this forward motion. And I believe that Jupiter will, I know that Jupiter will at some point surpass Chiron. So what we're starting to the opportunity is to start to look at the wound, but not in a way of trying to release it, but rather to say, is it still current? Do I still need to operate on this platform? Have I not evolved into a new place? Because the Jupiter and Chiron will be in opposition to the moon in Libra at 7 degrees. This is an opportunity to create balance and harmony and to understand that there is no such thing as balance if there isn't an ebb and a flow. So whatever ebb there has been, whatever exasperation of a wound that has come into the forefront of your heart and your mind and your emotional body has an opportunity for you to really look and say, am I contributing to this wound because I keep repeating it, I keep talking about it, I keep focusing in on it, or can I now allow myself the privilege of using that wound as my platform for empowerment? On the 16th of February, Jupiter will now be at 9 degrees Aries. Chiron will be at 13 degrees Aries, and we're seeing this conjunction forming. And now we're squaring the moon in Capricorn. The moon will be at 11 degrees. So this is, to me, a significant day because the 11th degree is, to me, Aquarian degree, but also the ones always seem to focus in on my thoughts. What am I focusing in on again? How am I contributing to my experience for the benefit or for the challenge of it? Because I'm thinking about this so much. So here is Jupiter at 9 degrees, which is the Sagittarian degree. Then we have Chiron at the Aries degree, in Aries, 13 degrees. Can I be brave in looking at the idea that while my wound is valid, it happened, it has not been rectified, it has not been addressed in a way to balance it, but can I now be brave enough to look at it and say, I guess it's as healed as it's going to be. I guess it's as balanced as it's going to be. And if I keep moving backward to go extract where that wound, where it started and who's to blame, I'm never really going to allow myself to build the new structure emotionally to move myself forward, which is why Capricorn to me is like, are you willing to endure past your emotional moment and to build this with the hope that you have for the future? We're going to see on the 20th, we're going to see Venus at 0 degrees Aries. And by the 22nd of February, Venus, Jupiter, the moon, and Chiron will all be in Aries. So we're going to see a really powerful energy of self-worth. Am I claiming my self-worth? Am I willing to purport the thoughts? The 3rd degree is the Gemini degree. Am I stuck in my monkey mind? Venus, my self-worth. Jupiter at 10 degrees is Capricorn degree, but it's also that one. And the moon is at 11 degrees. So Jupiter and the moon are together, asking you to go where you've never gone before, to use your wound to expand your version of yourself and to use it as a tool of wisdom. Because when we get to Chiron, that's been now sitting at 13 degrees Aries, I'm sorry, it is at 13 degrees Aries, but it's also at the Aryan degree. So this is kind of a fork in the road. Am I going to continue to purport resentment and anger for those that have done me wrong? Or am I going to move towards the future I want and realize that there will not be a reconciliation that may satisfy me? And it is what it is. I also want to say this is very much an opportunity to spend some time in reflection as to how your wound has supported you and how that wound has been knocking on the door of transformation. Let me rise like the phoenix. Let me be the gift that you give not only to yourself, but to others. On the 27th, Venus will now be at 9 degrees. Jupiter will be at 11 degrees, and Chiron has been holding pattern at 13 degrees Aries. So this is kind of a theme really going on, where as Venus traverses Aries this time, she is very focused on herself and on her self-worth and on her reconciling the family history to support the future, rather than to pull her and anchor her into the past. We see between March 2nd and approximately March 6th, we have Venus and Chiron conjunct at 13 degrees Aries. Jupiter is at 12 degrees Aries. So here we're seeing through this whole month of February and going into March, this dynamic of how do I perceive myself? Am I using my skills? Venus is my skills and my voice and my talents and my gifts. And Chiron is saying there's wisdom here. And Jupiter is saying, and there's expansion when you find the divinity in your disruptions. The disruptions throughout your life have propelled you into a place that makes you more focused, makes you more determined. It's very exciting. Around March 6th, Chiron will finally have moved a degree. She'll be at he will be at 14 degrees. Jupiter will be at 13 degrees Aries. And by the 10th, they will be exact at 14 degrees until the 13th of March, 2023. The 14th degree to me is the Taurus degree. Again, here we are. We're seeing this opportunity to revisit our family history, our imprint, the wounds that we have experienced, and now transform them. Now turn them into gifts that make sense of my life, that start to support the who am I and why am I here. I'm here to express myself in joyous ways. I'm here to expand. I'm here to experience diversity. I'm here to experience my divinity, my soul, my inner being, my God energy here in the physical. This is why that we come here. On March 22nd, approximately, Mercury will be in Aries, will have joined the party. Chiron will have moved to 15 degrees. Jupiter will be at 16 degrees, and the moon will be at 18 degrees Aries. Another big day to review, what am I thinking? What am I speaking? How am I supporting myself? This move of Jupiter through and Chiron through Aries is really supporting, I believe, the Uranus-Saturn square that's been going on for the last 2 years, about taking Saturn's structure and now rewriting it to complement the version of my life. Because again, Saturn really doesn't care what lane you choose. It doesn't care what you want to work at, how you want to express yourself, but it expects you to work hard. It expects you to work beyond your emotional exhaustion and to be dedicated. And in doing so, Saturn rewards. So, and I bring this up because this Mercury, Chiron, Jupiter, the moon conjunction in Aries feels as if it's supporting how I think. And Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury can sometimes represent the human experience and how we get caught up in our everyday thoughts. By the 25th of March, Mercury will be at 13 degrees Aries, Chiron at 15, Jupiter at 17, and this is teeing up an exact conjunction with Mercury and Chiron, and then Mercury and Jupiter. So we're going to see Mercury and Jupiter rule the axis, the 3rd and 9th house axis. So we see Jupiter in a more philosophical mindset and Mercury more focused on everyday human activities. Here, as they come conjunct in Aries, I believe this is going to start to support, am I thinking, speaking, writing, am I behaving in ways that support the version of my life? So let me give you an example. A lot of people are concerned about money right now. As I film this, it is December 14th, 2022. And we've seen, scarcity on the shelves in the market. The prices of our fruits and vegetables have gone up, gas has gone up, etc. All of this creates a panic. All of this creates a bit of feelings of scarcity. What I believe is being offered right now is for when Mercury joins Chiron and Jupiter in Aries, and we have this period of time between the 25th of March and the 27th of March, we have an opportunity to really think, how much are we getting sucked into everyday media? We're getting sucked into the fear-based thoughts that are in our environment, around our neighborhoods. Sometimes the Nextdoor app can be a real nightmare with people just spewing things. So I feel like this is a real opportunity to start to align your everyday activities, your behaviors, your thoughts, your behaviors, your thoughts, your speech, everything mercurial. Am I, even your passwords, are the passwords that you type into the computer every day supporting a version of what you want, or are they just random numbers that mean nothing and yet you are still repeating them? Because you can use those as supporting and declarations to the universe, your passwords. Okay, so now we move into April. And when we get to April 3rd, we see the sun in Aries. We see Chiron at 15 degrees. Jupiter's now moving a little quickly. It's moved into the 19th degree. And what I believe is that this is going to be a period of time that kind of calms down a little bit. The sun always makes things grow. The sun is exalted in Aries. Chiron is now at that Geminian degree, 15th degree. Yes. So we're going to start to really be aware of our thoughts. And now Jupiter's at the 19th degree, which is the Libra degree. So I think we're going to start to see a little bit of awareness and now implementation, a feeling of kind of calming down. I got this. It's like in your head, you're saying to yourself, you know what? I don't need to be perfect in my thoughts. I don't need to have great positive thoughts every day, but just my awareness of the journey of the up and down is neutralizing some of the more challenging thoughts and supporting my focus, because that challenging thought allows me now to apply the Jupiterian thought process, the philosophical thought process. What is this thought still serving me, or is it somehow taking me back into my old wound and imprint? On the 5th of April, I believe this is an eclipse. I didn't write that down. Hold on. Let me check my notes really quick, because that's, I think, going to be super important. Let me check my eclipse dates really quick. I apologize. April 5th. No, it's not until May 5th. Okay, that's right. All right. So on April 5th, we will see a full moon in Libra. And obviously the sun will be in Aries. Full moons are where the sun is in opposition to the moon. And the sun will be conjunct Chiron. The United States has its Chiron at 20 degrees Aries. So I bring this up because on that full moon, Jupiter will have moved to 20 degrees Aries, and we may see on or around April 5th, 2022, we may see or hear things and learn things. There may be some revelation that this full moon in Libra at 16 degrees, because 16th degree is the Cancer degree. So I feel like there could be something significant that comes into our awareness as a result of the United States natal chart having its wound at 20 degrees Aries. So I don't know quite what that will be. I didn't meditate on that date, which I wish I would have, but I will when we get closer to it, to see where we may have information disclosed that gives us further opportunities to recalibrate and redefine what we want for ourselves. By April 11th, the sun and Jupiter will both be at 21 degrees Aries. I think this is a great day. And because they will continue to be conjunct through the next day at 22 degrees Aries. So I think that right around the 11th, the 12th of April, 2023, I think this is a really stellar time to tee up anything you want to really plant and expand in the world. I think it'd be a great day for meetings even, or anything that you want to give some extra oomph to. The sun is expansive. It makes things grow. It's this, the sun rules the season of romance, the season of playtime and fun, the summer. And Jupiter always rules wealth and expansion and good luck and feeling hopeful and faithful. So I think this is a super great day. By April 29th, 2023, Jupiter is at 26 degrees Aries, and it's forming a conjunction with the North Node as it finishes its sojourn through Taurus. So we're going to see this getting closer and closer together. The North Node on that day will be at 4 degrees Taurus, which I believe is significant because, again, that 4th degree is the Cancerian degree. The 26th degree is the Taurus degree. So this is a lot to do with allowing myself to get very excited about what I want for myself, trusting my intuition. What do I want for my experience within my feelings of home? And I want to offer this because we oftentimes think of home as a structure, right? I think of home as how I feel on the inside. You can put my body anywhere. It doesn't necessarily mean I will be happy. How I will be happy is by feeling loved and accepted and connected and purposeful in the world. And that all comes from my interior body. So I think as we get to the end of April, the North Node is really going to put an emphasis on this. It's going to put an extra punch into wanting this feeling of creating a home for myself that I thrive in and that I feel is connected to a bigger version of who and what I am and what I want to experience. Now we get into May, and we're getting to the later degrees of Jupiter's sojourn through Aries. Here on the 8th of May, we are at 28 degrees, and we're starting a loose square with Pluto. Pluto is on April 30th, Pluto will be at 0 degrees Aquarius. It's going to do a little jaunt in Aquarius and then move back into Capricorn. So we're going to feel that. But the 0 degree again is the infusion. This is not a critical degree in the sense of being on the world axis, but it is a ingress. It's like a newborn baby inside of the energy. So here is Pluto going into the sign of genius, into the sign of space and travel and futuristic dynamics, liberation, freedom, thinking more about humanity and the bigger picture of people and us all being one. Versus little individuals running around the planet trying to survive. So to me, Pluto is, this is where, I'm sorry, Pluto is also, it's gone 0 degrees Aquarius, and it's going to go retrograde back into Capricorn. I hope I have that date right. I hope I didn't mess. I put Pluto goes retrograde at 0 degrees Aquarius, but I didn't write when Pluto entered Aquarius. Oh, I'm fabulously flawed. Thanks for putting up with me. All right. And let's go to our final date is on May 16th, when Jupiter will enter Taurus and stay in Taurus until well into 2025, I believe. So this is a really important time for those with a strong Aries energy to take advantage of Jupiter. I'm going to quickly run through the houses right now so you know where the focus will be, where the opportunity for expansion, individuality, self-expression, bravery, courage, and some really, I want to offer it this way because I believe there are experiences that are potentials ahead of us that you can't quite imagine, that when you look around your world, your own personal world, you may be like, well, I don't know how that would ever happen. And I don't know how that would ever happen. And I think part of Jupiter's influence is to say, it doesn't matter if you know how it will happen. Having faith that what you want will happen is what is most important. And then the universe will bring in the dynamics, the experiences, the people, the resources you need to make that manifest in your world. So Aries, this is going to be in your first house of self, how you identify yourself. And I think one of the most important things is I think there's a very strong possibility that you will start to connect with the idea that any anger or resentment you've had is only holding you back. It's really not moving an old story forward. So I think as that comes into the forefront of your mind, you really start to become brave and courageous about moving your story forward. And I think a lot of Aries rising will get some real inspirations about finances and about money and about moving your story forward, but in an entrepreneurial way. And it doesn't mean you'll leave your day job if you have one, but start to implement this entrepreneurial experience so that you can eventually traverse from one platform to another, where you feel much more the master of your own world. For Taurus, this is going to be in your 12th house. Aries is your 12th house. This to me is an opportunity for you to see where your belief system, where your the 12th house rules private time, quiet time. It's reflection. It rules hospitals. It rules research. It rules our dreams. It rules creativity, poetry, dance. And I think this is an opportunity for Taurus to see where maybe some hidden fears have held you back, where Taurus rules the voice, Taurus rules singing, Taurus rules skills and talents. And so this may be an opportunity during Jupiter's transiting Aries before it enters your house of self, your first house, to really see where you have hidden fears or an old imprint and to reconcile that. Don't try to release it. A fixed sign you are. So you're not going to do that easily, but to extract the wisdom from whatever issues have been in the past and now say, do I need to bring those into my future? Because that to me is a divine karmic reconciliation that becomes a release, and the chains that bound you, where you've been imprisoned, will now step aside and allow you to move forward. Gemini, Aries is your 11th house. So we're going to see an expansion potentially of your networks, of your genius, of your individuality. And I want to offer it this way because Gemini, rules our everyday activities. It's a super social sign, and the 11th house is a super social house. So Mars has been traversing your sign here, but here now I feel like there is whatever Mars revealed, because by the time we get to March, Mars will move out of your sign. So you're going to have Mars in your first house while Jupiter is in your 11th house. And the complement is that Mars rules your 11th house. So I think there's an opportunity for Gemini to kind of come into this brave action and implementation of how you want to assert yourself in a larger scale. Maybe you want to start some sort of platform like TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and you're willing to birth yourself. Or maybe you're starting to really think about, how does my everyday life serve what I want to experience in the way of my own happiness and supporting my dreams? The 11th house is the house of hopes and dreams, and very much a house that grows over time. It offers reward over time. So this transit of Jupiter in your 11th house offers you opportunities to think, am I supporting the who I am and what I want for myself? And allow yourself to enjoy socializing on new platforms, or on platforms in a more intentional way. I really think there's an opportunity for you to make money somehow by really re-examining your thought process and going to a place of connection with the divine. For my Cancers, this is in your 10th house of career and public image. There's a potential that you could find your spouse. Jupiter in ancient times ruled the spouse. They considered the man the teacher and the woman the lovely student. Isn't that awesome? And so here, I know it doesn't really seem like a house that you would think of as romance, but it is a house of public status and a potential change. And Jupiter offers expansion. So there is the potential that you could change the status of your relationship. You can also change the status of your job. You could become a mother during this time, and people identify with you as a mother now. There's a lot of things that can happen in this 10th house that don't have to do with government or restriction or kind of more traditionally Capricorn things. This is an opportunity to go from the ideas of coupling in the way of dating and romance into something more solid and structured. I don't know why I'm putting it this way. It's all coming through intuitively for me right now. So I hope you enjoy that possibility. For Leo rising, this is in your 9th house. And this is an opportunity. If you have a stellium of planets in Aries in the 9th house, this is a very strong indication that you are working on your belief system in this lifetime and expanding it beyond the smaller dynamics of what Aries might represent. You're you're getting an opportunity to move beyond resentments, to move beyond feelings of loneliness and isolation and having to do it all by yourself. And the idea that Leo is a fixed sign presents an opportunity here, because Leo and Aries are complementary. The sun is exalted in Aries. So somewhere this is about getting down to your heart. And Leo rules the heart and it rules the spine. Thereby it rules courage. And Aries rules courage and bravery. So for my Leo risings, this is a time when you really get to dig down into your heart and ask yourself if you're being courageous in your thought process. Are you willing to expand to am I co-creating this on some level? This is not about blame. This is about co-creation is not always 50-50. Co-creation could be 10-90, 90-10, 30-70, and all co-creations have an opportunity for us to rise beyond the mundane. So I think for Leo, this is an opportunity to rise beyond the mundane of old resentments and old stories where you've been done wrong, and now stepping into a new vibration where I'm claiming myself, and I'm claiming myself through my thought process first. And as I do that, as I stop the blame game and I start finding my happiness regardless of outside conditions, then you start to really experience the divinity of God and the divinity of life's journey and why we really chose it. Virgo, this is going to be your 8th house of transformation, of other people's money, of sex, of emotions and psychology buried deep beneath the surface. Having Aries be your 8th house, this is about being very pioneering, being very brave and courageous into looking at the deep psychological imprint that you have and being able to find the connection to spirit within it. The laws of the universe, cause and effect, they are here whether you believe them or not. And here what we see in the 8th house is very much a commingling of other people and how they've affected me. The 8th house rules physical death. There is no real death, but in the human experience, there is the release of the physical body. So here you have an opportunity to transform beyond the physical and to see the divinity within disruption. And Virgo by nature is again ruled by Mercury. There is this processing energy. There is this dutiful energy. The 6th house of Virgo rules service to others. And oftentimes we think that service is to actually say, here, let me provide something for you in the physical. But here in the 8th house, we're seeing something psychological. And this is about providing for the self because it's Aries. So you have an opportunity, Virgo, to reconcile maybe a deep psychological imprint that has been the basis for all your decisions. We inadvertently, and I've watched myself do this unknowingly, and then in retrospect or in hindsight, seen the pattern of me making decisions based on fear or basing decisions on the idea that I will be alone forever. And Aries is a loner. Aries sometimes feels exiled, sometimes feels as if they've been pushed into that lonely energy. So Virgo, this is an opportunity to transform that and to rise like the phoenix and allow Jupiter to expand you into wealth and opportunity and good luck in the form of interactions with others and reconciling a deep psychological imprint that you may have been bringing in from lifetime to lifetime. Libra. Aries is your 7th house of partnerships. If you are a single Libra, you could very much see yourself engaging in an energy with a partner, somebody who you look up to, somebody that you revere, somebody you find interesting. Could be somebody foreign, could be somebody who's very foreign to you. Oftentimes, if we think of things kind of flat, we think of foreign from one country to another country, but it could be someone who thinks very differently than you and inspires you. It could also be an opportunity for Libra to go into contractual professional partnerships in a way that serves the collective much more succinctly or obviously. The 7th house doesn't just rule marriage in the form of of husband and wife, or wife and husband, but it is professional, contractual, where we agree on paper to a certain endeavor. So there could be an opportunity as you walk through these next few months to expand on your sense of self, on your sense of individuality within partnership, and in doing so, bringing in a situation where you feel your voice is heard much more. I want to offer it this way. It's embraced. Your voice, your opinion, you matter, and it's embraced and you feel it. This is exciting times with Jupiter here in Aries. Scorpio, this is going to be in your 6th house of service, of work, of enslavement. The 6th house, because it rules employment and work, we call that in modern times work. But in previous historical eras, it was slavery. We saw people who would sell their lives, indentured slaves, for their passage to America. We obviously know that there was the enslavement of people in a very brutal way. So Scorpio here, this is a transformation for you in where you may have enslaved yourself to a concept, to a dynamic, to an obligation of some kind. It could also represent you expanding your knowledge about your body, about your health, about your mental health. Again, Scorpio is a very psychological sign. It's an intense, deep inner knowing. I love Scorpio. I don't know, maybe I'm the queen of darkness, but I love the challenging planets. I love what they offer in benefit and reward when we're brave. And this is what's going on. Scorpio, again, is a fixed sign. So there can be a rigidity to the way that you're going about things. And that could be in some ways self-sabotaging, which could be creating resentments. Now let's see that your 6th house is ruled by Mars. Mars is the co-ruler of Scorpio. So you are familiar with Mars's energy. You're familiar with being brave. You're familiar with being angry. And now you get to decide if your anger is serving you, if your resentment and the focus on that is getting you where you want to go, or it's actually eroding your health. I don't want to make it all about health, but I think that there is this opportunity with Chiron also being in this house where you can really release yourself. And I don't like to use that word, but it does feel like a release. It feels almost like an energy that goes, and suddenly I feel lighter. I feel different about things. So be very, very supportive of what you need for your mental health to feel balanced. Because that mental health is going to help your physical body and your stress level, and all of that is going to help you feel more empowered to move forward and bring expansion to you, bring benefit to you. Sagittarius, Aries is your 5th house of romance, of children, of self-expression, entertainment, hobbies, fun. I think this is an amazing energy because here we have your ruling planet, Jupiter, in the house of fun and enjoyment and entertainment. And I can't help, I just want to start to laugh. I feel like I see 2 little children just in like a giggle contest where they're just, they're laughing until they're crying. And so enjoy this period of time. Let yourself believe, Jupiter, belief in forces that are working for you, that if there is a wound that you have in how you've expressed yourself out into the world, maybe you've had experiences where you've been taken from your homeland to a foreign place and you have felt like a fish out of water, or you've found it challenging to experience fun. The Sagittarius by nature is, everything feels new in Sagittarius to me. I'm going somewhere new. I'm thinking new. I'm pondering new things. And within that, I'm expanding myself. I'm expanding my opportunities for wealth and for joy and for feeling lucky in the world. So as we see Jupiter traverse Aries and go over Chiron, you get to really use this Chiron energy as the gift that you're being given, and be brave about expressing yourself, your wants and your needs, and enjoy yourself. Have fun and see how fun actually supports thriving and the resources and the bounty that Jupiter has to offer. Capricorn, this is in your 4th house of home. This is literally the lowest part of the zodiac. So it is the foundation with which you have this experience, this life experience. And I feel as if there has been any Capricorn by nature, the sign itself is dutiful, right? It represents leadership. It can represent feeling repressed. It can represent limitations, but those limitations are human parameters. They are human structures, and they're structures that get put into place during one period of time and then dragged into a new period of time where they're not always as effective. So the rotary phone that was so innovative in the early 20th century is now archaic and a dinosaur. So here, what I'm thinking is going on is Capricorn has an idea or an opportunity to look at their family dynamic, their home, their properties, their what do you believe about your ability to live a life, a home life that really supports where you want to go and what you want to be, and how you want to, what traditions do you want? What history do you associate with your family? You could have experienced a family that was full of anger. You could have been in a military family, a Capricorn. Whatever is happening in your 4th house is giving you an opportunity to rewrite the structure, to renovate that home, to break down walls that are blocking you from an open sight line, and recreating them in a way that represents the new version of Capricorn, because Pluto has been going through your house forever. So what we're going to see is this idea that whatever Pluto's been doing to your sense of self, to how you view yourself, the phoenix rising through the ashes. Now we're going to see you build that structure with new faith and new possibilities and new opportunities, because you're now looking at the challenges and you're seeing the wisdom of those challenges. And rather than letting them depress you and hold you back and put you into fear, you're finding that I can be tenacious through those things. I can be determined through those things, because there is reward and expansion and wealth. And God knows Capricorn loves wealth on the other side of that. And when I say wealth, I don't want to just put money bags in front of me. I want all the things that represent my hard work. Capricorn is a builder. So when it sees in the physical world the manifestations that it has built, it gives it opportunities to stand in the higher vibrations of the Saturn energy, and it becomes a great leader. So we got that. Now, Aquarius, Aries is your 3rd house. So this is going to give you an opportunity to expand your network of friends, your social networks. This could give you an opportunity to reconcile wounds with your siblings or with your teammates, your workmates, any wounds that you may have as a result of your childhood experience. The 3rd house rules, school-age children. So I think this is an opportunity to feel liberation, to feel a sense of wisdom through the challenges. With Chiron being in transiting your house, your 3rd house, there's always as Jupiter comes into Aries and meets with Chiron, each individual will run up against a wound of some kind, but this is where Chiron transforms into the gift, into this wise sage that knows how to use herbs and things of the earth to heal. And so this is where Aquarius, for me, feels like you go into this sort of expansive energy of thinking outside the box and starting to really address whether or not the wound is serving you. Oftentimes, humans can't move forward until their wounds are acknowledged. And sometimes the acknowledgement of the wound is just tethering you to the wound. So I think there's something here. Third house rules Gemini. It rules the monkey mind, the everyday meh, 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 meh. So now we're seeing something pop. We're seeing a release of this. And it feels really, it feels like a bit of a relief, to be honest. It feels as if, oh, okay, I can relax now. You know, Uranus rules the nervous system. The shadow side of Aquarius can be a little anxious, panic attacks. And now this feels like it could potentially calm down as you become very brave, as you're willing to liberate yourself from Chiron's wound and transform it. And then bring that into your neighborhood, into your community, letting them see you and experience you in a new vibration versus where they have experienced you before. And finally, we have Pisces. This Aries is your second house. This is the house of money that you make for yourself. This is the opportunity for you to apply your skills. I think of Pisces as a very dreamy planet. I love the idea of the poetry and the dance and the photography and the illusion, but it doesn't feel like an illusion that's trying to pull me under. It's the illusion of what can be, the possibilities, the dreaming, the imaginings of what can be. Now we put this into your second house of what can I be? How can I use my skills, my talents, my compassion, my empathy? And now we have the Chiron, the wound in that second house as well. Because one of the things about Pisces is that you can be overly empathetic, that it becomes draining for you and it depletes you and it makes you want to retreat by yourself into the house, the bedroom. You know, let me go to sleep and forget about all the problems of the world because my natural compassionate nature, this is depressing me. Now we get to see the more spiritual side, where when we see other humans experiencing challenges, you can see it from spirit's point of view, the laws of attraction. What do those challenges have to offer that human? Rather than falling prey to their victim energy, you can instead see the victor energy. And so now, being the healer that you are, can come into balance where you are not depleted, where you're able to express your voice, express your talents, and not feel the responsibility of someone else's reconciliation, of someone else's healing, of someone else's balancing. So you're really taking a karmic perception of this and allowing that to be the platform for how you interact with others. Because Pisces, to me, is the most mutable sign. And given the right combination of people and experiences, you could constantly defer to something else and inadvertently think that it's your passion. So here, or your talent can be inadvertently depleted rather than stoked in inspiration through other humans. So now this is an opportunity for you to individualize. The second house rules our family history. It naturally rules Taurus. It rules Venusian things like my possessions, my security, my sense of self-worth, my taking my talents and my gifts and presenting them in the outside world and creating bounty as a result of it. So I think this is an opportunity for Pisces to individualize a little bit, to be a little bit more about me, and not in a negative way, but in a way that actually serves and supports other people and inspires them. So as you take care of you and you allow those talents to be birthed, other people are like, I want to do that. And then that is your true gift and service. So this is Jupiter entering Aries, and it won't do this again for another 12 years or so. I didn't actually move into the future, and it will not be in Aries again for a while. We won't see, when we see it again in Aries, there'll be other planets that are in play. Like 10, 12 years ago, Uranus was very much in play because Uranus was transiting Aries. So as we move into this dynamic of Aries hosting both Jupiter in Chiron, we're having an opportunity to transform the human wound through spirit's eyes, through the wisdom of disruption, through the willingness to look at our co-creation and what it has to offer us in bounty, in expansion, in faith. And then we present a much more evolved version and much more joyous version of the human experience. So that's it for me. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer. I will be posting January's videos coming up. And I am also having a live on the 23rd of December between 10 a.m. and 11:30. If you'd like to submit a question, I will be answering your questions directly. I don't know if I should have announced this at the beginning of the video, but I'll be announcing it through the other videos. So please like, please subscribe, please share. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Peace